Welcome, everyone. It is the Mac and Murray College Football Show, and this is Conference Championship Week. We appreciate y'all joining us all season long for now the most important weekend of the college football season. Like, subscribe. You know what to do. Go to the social medias. We just had Mario Cristobal on last night talking about why Miami needs to be in the college football playoff. If you've not seen that, go back and watch that one. A really good episode sitting down with the head coach of the Miami Hurricane. This episode, what do you got? We're going to be breaking down all the top games for Conference Championship Weekend. But before we do that, we got to talk about some updated news, breaking, not breaking, true, false. I don't know, but we just got to talk about it because it's interesting. Jared Curtis, the number one recruit, the number one quarterback in America that's been committed to Georgia forever. His mama was talking about how much she loves the red and black, and she looks good in the red and black, which my mom was very happy I chose Georgia for those reasons too. I get it. It works. Got to make mama happy with what she wears to game day. Sources came out today saying on three, trying to jump the gun as always, saying that Jared Curtis has flipped from Georgia to Vanderbilt, which has been a rumor forever that he's going to flip. He's from Nashville. Vanderbilt's rolling. Be the heir apparent to Diego Pavia. Can start next year. Yada, 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 yada. He comes out and says, not so fast. I didn't say that. That's a bunch of, he didn't say that, but you get my drift. Back, like, this is craziness. First, we got all the Lane Kiffin stuff, all these coaches, Conference Championship Weekend. Now we got recruiting drama right before the recruiting window
National
opens for commitments.
Yeah, tomorrow.
This is craziness.
It is crazy.
Thoughts?
And it goes to show you how weird, different, strange the football world that we're living in right now, that we have a commit of this stature leaving Georgia potentially, because I don't think it's done. You know, it's so weird. Like, what do you believe?
This feels like the Lane Kiffin situation, but for players. Like, I didn't say that, but I'm also not saying that I'm going to say it Georgia.
Exactly. For Vandy, for freaking Vanderbilt, is nuts. But listen, I think there's some family history there. I think some people played there or went there. It makes sense. And of course, if you can be, paid handsomely, why not? Double down on a place and stay home. So it's a weird world, man. And I've seen a lot of people tweeting about this and going back and forth. And, a lot of people that you interact with as well, just kind of saying like, there's no backup plan to this. Like there's nothing, in this class that they feel really good about. Now, is that true? Is that being dramatic? Probably. So what does Georgia do? What's next, for them and going to get another, QB to just keep the room deep and keep it going?
Well, first off, I'm going to start with Georgia first. Like, I don't think they necessarily needed a quarterback in this class. Like, Gunnar Stockton will be back next year. So you have Gunnar. So you have someone next year. I think they're very excited about Ryan Puglisi, who is a redshirt freshman. So he's a guy that a lot of people were thinking early in the season could take over for Gunnar based on his ability to throw the football. I've been really impressed with Brian when he's come in there and played this season. And then you got another freshman quarterback who was highly recruited last year, and Ryan Montgomery as well, from the state of Ohio. So you have three very talented, highly recruited guys in your room. You have a returning starting quarterback coming back next year. So I don't think there's ever a sense of desperation for Georgia, but it's nice to bring in other competition. It's nice to bring in a guy that's a 5-star that is more maybe capable of playing as a true freshman. So that's from the Georgia standpoint. Would it be great to have him anytime you get a top quarterback? Yes, it's the most important position. But are you going to is the program going to crumble because you don't get him? No, plenty of talent in that room. Obviously, plenty of talent in that locker room.
That's what I think is funny too, man. Like this, it's just like waiting game, and people think that a kid that's never taken a snap, who knows? I mean, he might not even pan out anywhere he goes.
Exactly.
Where people just sit there and look and say, "Oh my gosh, the sky's falling. What's wrong with Georgia?" And that's why I was going back and fun, trying to be silly on social media about this. Who cares at the end of the day? Like it'll all work out. Georgia will be just fine, and good for Vandy if they do get them, which we don't know if they will or won't. That's cool, to be able to do that.
I would think for a guy like this stature, though, he probably wants to play year one. And the thought of playing next year, because if he goes to Vandy, he's going to be the day one starter.
Day one, yeah. But let me ask this from you, because you've been in this situation. That is good, but could be a negative as well for a guy with expectation. And now you don't really have time to develop. You just got to go. So, what's the positive and negative about a true freshman walking in the door and being like, you're the guy?
Well, I think for Clark Lee, you would like for him to be the guy so you can continue this momentum because I think you could sell to guys in the transfer portal, guys that you're trying to recruit as well, that hey, we just went 10-2. We may or may have not made the college football playoff. We're going to figure that out here the next, 6 days if they find a way to sneak in there. But regardless, we're 10-2. Diego is probably going to go to New York. So we just put a guy in New York for the Heisman Trophy. We just got the number one quarterback recruit come to Vanderbilt, everything's trending in the right direction. So I think you can use all the momentum to build a really good group of talented guys around Jared Curtis next season to help him in his true freshman year. Is he going to be a Trevor Lawrence or these other freshman phenoms that come in day one and be an absolute stud? I don't know, but from everything I've heard from people that have seen him in person, that have played against him, he is the real freaking deal.
Mhm.
Like everything you want, day one guy, impact player, still TBD, can you do it at a high level in the SEC? That time will tell. But you've heard enough credible people say that this guy's got it to be that guy. So I think it'd be a huge get for Vanderbilt to continue on this
Yeah.
trajectory of Clark Lee just signed a huge extension. There's been some more financial backing when it comes to facilities, the stadium upgrade, winning, all of that. So Vanderbilt's starting to turn into a little bit of a player in college
Look
football right
out.
now.
Look out. Who knew? Who knew they'd be able to do it? Well, let's stay on the Georgia conversation here and look at this matchup. Huge game, huge rematch in a world, Aaron, where Mississippi has the best year they've ever had. Ole Miss is rolling, Texas A&M killing it, doing all their thing. It's inevitable that we get Georgia and
Of course
Alabama
it is.
in the conference championship. Maybe neither one want to play in this game. Maybe both are confident and comfortable where they are. Maybe not quite Bama. We'll find out more tonight when these rankings come out. But I wanted you to start with this one, man, because this is a game that we've seen many, many times. I think you played Bama, right? In a
SEC
championship game.
championship game, winner wins
Yeah,
the
so
national
you've been in
championship.
this.
Yeah.
You know what the fans are like. You know what that environment's like. You know everything about it. Um, lay out this game for me. What are you thinking?
I mean, it's a little bit different now than it was then because it truly was winner goes to natty, loser
Right.
doesn't. So
I think
I
Bama's in that situation, not natty, but playoff. I
yeah,
think they
I
lose,
do
they're out.
agree Alabama's in that situation where you
Yeah.
lose and you may not get into the playoffs. And I think part of it has to do with they just haven't played as well down the stretch to maybe give the committee
Right.
confidence that regardless of the outcome of this game, that they deserve to be one of the 12 teams. I think if they would have been, just playing significantly better down the stretch and just killing teams and still had the 10-2 record, we'd be having a little bit different of a conversation right now. But Ty Simpson has not been the same guy as he was the first time Georgia played. Um, Ryan Williams is just non-existent. I mean, didn't even get a target against Auburn. I mean, where is one of the most dynamic players in college football heading into the season gone? He's disappeared. They can't run the football still, but the defense has gone better. So that is the one bright spot right now for Alabama over the past month, but they just seem to be trending in the wrong direction a little bit. Not like dramatically. Like this isn't like we thought last week with Georgia Tech versus Georgia, where it's like Georgia Tech's like skidding hard. Alabama's like a slow decline, but it's Alabama. It's still Ty Simpson. It's still a great coaching staff. And I still think they can obviously rebound and
Yeah.
and continue this domination of Georgia this weekend in the SEC
And
championship game.
there's something to that, right? Like just having a
Yep.
team's number and
Yep.
scheming them up. I do think though, like I think Kirby is salivating at this game. I think he is so excited to be able to hammer these guys potentially, to play them again. Just because he's probably sick and tired of hearing exactly what,
Yeah.
I just brought up there. I'm sure he does not want any part of that in regards to he wants to kill it and crush it and move on from it. And you bring up the Alabama defense playing better. I think there's something to that there. I think I'm going to put an asterisk on that because I'm just looking at the last, 4 or 5 games here. They held South Carolina to 22. South Carolina's not a great offense. They have an identity
They
crisis, who
held
they want to
Tennessee to
be.
20 though.
Yeah, Tennessee, which is obviously a good team. So that's a game back from what I'm looking at. So thank you for bringing that up. LSU, 9 points, kind of a disaster. Oklahoma scored on defense, so a little bit more there, 23. And then an Auburn team to 20.
You but even
Georgia,
go back to they held Vanderbilt to 14, they held Georgia to 21, like,
I'm
when have
going
they
back
besides
farther. I
Florida
don't
State,
have all
when have
that
they
in
had a
front of
bad
me. I could
game?
have pulled it up.
When have they had a bad game defensively? Like, this has been a pretty consistent
Yeah,
defense all year.
yeah. I don't
I don't
know,
know.
man.
I think
We'll
it's a good
see.
defense. I
You're
think it's a
right.
good defense. I think it's a really good
I'm talking
defense.
crazy. Should I edit all that out? What an
You
idiot.
should probably
So
edit that
dumb.
out. I mean, come on
I don't
now.
know, but it's not like world beater defense. I haven't watched it this
No.
year and been like, "Oh my god, these guys are so good." And I don't know. I think Georgia's playing very well. They're ascending. These are two teams that passed each other. That lost. Georgia went down. Bama skyrocketed, and now they're kind of going the other way. And the fun thing is, we get to see that on the field. It's not. We don't just have to talk about it from afar. Kind of like we are with Miami and Notre Dame, and that kind of head to head that happened earlier, significantly earlier. We get to see this now. We get to see it in real time. And that's what I'm excited about. And just how can Georgia bounce back? After that rivalry game where the offense, did sputter and just didn't look quite the same, specifically passing, they ran the ball at will. What does it look like in this game? What are you able to do? What are you able to conjure up? And you know, in your heart of hearts, your mind here, Bama can't run the ball. So do you trust that our front four can handle that? Whatever they try to do running it, we got that. Let's stay in coverage. Let's show some unique things. Let's try to trick this guy who's really, really good and try to force him to throw the ball somewhere. Maybe he thinks he sees something, but there we are waiting. That's what I'm excited to see from Kirby. And how do they get this defense rolling?
Well, I mean, this defense has to be better on 3rd down too.
For sure.
Alabama didn't have to run the ball in that first game
Oh, yeah.
to
I mean, it
still have
was,
success. I mean, they were
yeah, it's
13
crazy.
of 19 on the road between the hedges at night on 3rd down. 13 of 19.
And I think they
That's tough.
started like 12 of 12. Like they
Yeah, it was
started
crazy.
lights out. And then, of
Crazy, and
course,
they
the
only
second
ran the
half.
ball for 117 yards,
Yeah.
and then you look at the time of possession, essentially 36 minutes to 24 minutes of Georgia. So Georgia had limited possessions, really in that first half, couldn't get on the field. They couldn't stay on the field because they couldn't convert 3rd downs, and Alabama essentially owned the entire first half of that ball game. So, like, I mean, that to me, that's the key for this game. Can Georgia run it similar to what they did in the first game? 227 yards. I mean, can you be 175 plus? Can you stay on the field, get 3rd downs, and can you get off the field?
Mhm.
Like, to me, the team that wins the game is the team that is going to win the 3rd down battle, and the team that's going to win the time of possession battle. Exactly what happened in the first game is going to have to be reversed for Georgia. Get off the field. The difference is Ty Simpson was playing like the best quarterback in America in that game against Georgia. He was playing like that for the beginning of the season and really through probably week 8. He has not been that guy
Mhm.
since, I don't know, before the Oklahoma
Yeah.
game, maybe? It's
Yeah.
it's been a minute where I've sat back and like, "Oh, that's the Ty Simpson that I fell in love with the start." It's not like he's playing terrible. I'm not
Yeah.
saying Ty Simpson, he's been a top quarterback, he's been good, but in order to carry a team into an SEC championship game against a team like Georgia, it's either you have to be balanced offense, like run it and throw it, or
Mhm.
your quarterback has to just be otherworldly Heisman caliber quarterback. He was that game. He's not playing like that right now. So that
No.
is worrisome for me if I'm an Alabama fan.
And I think you and I have brought that up, for weeks now, just saying when this does happen, when he does run out of steam, it's going to be hard, for them to win football games. And obviously they did lose to Oklahoma. He still statistically looked nice, but there was a lot of decisions, bad decisions that were kind of made, in that game that were play altering turnovers. And so how does he bounce back from that will be interesting to see. How does Gunnar Stockton bounce back? You had mentioned that his coach was not happy with him coming off the field a couple of times for decisions that he made in that Georgia Tech game and just things that they did. Again, excited to see what it looks like. I mean, two teams that are coming off wins, but struggling wins against their rival, to get to this moment, to have this opportunity here. And again, I think that there is something about you're number 4 in the country. You do not need this game at all, Georgia, to be in. There's probably
Yeah, but
from
you
a
want to keep one of
physical
those buys
standpoint,
though. You want to
yeah,
keep
there's probably only physical standpoint. Well, I mean, you have a bye if you're not playing in this game. If Texas A&M does their thing, you have a bye. You're
but I'm
there.
saying like you still want to be one of the top 4 seeds since you are playing this game. I don't think they're going to just like
Yeah, yeah. You
eh,
want to win. I'm just saying they weren't looking forward or bending over backwards saying get us to the SEC championship because they
no.
didn't need to. But now
No.
that you are here, I do think that they're ecstatic about this opportunity to play and beat Alabama. I think that's kind of what
I
it
think
looks
that's my
like. And I think on
one
the other
worry.
side, Bama fans are not excited about this game. Like they are, I think, terrified. I think Alabama fans are terrified of this game because they're
I
going to
think
be out of the
Alabama fans are
playoff.
wor they I wish they I guarantee they wish they were playing A&M instead of Georgia again.
100%, a hundred
Yes.
percent.
Yes. I agree with that one. Um, I think we talked about does this game matter or not and just general going forward. But like, for Georgia, my one worry is I think they were kind of thinking we were going to get this weekend off.
Mhm.
But Kirby is one of the best in locker room motivational,
Oh yeah,
get the boys revved up, ready to go. So I think you will see a Georgia team that is hungry, wanting to get some revenge on early. And two, I think there's also a sense of like, hey guys, if we beat the crap out of Alabama, we may knock them out of the playoffs, so we don't have
right.
to face them again.
Little sweet.
That would
And
be
he, I mean,
sweet.
he was speaking this week. People are asking him, about getting hurt and are you mad you're in this game? He said, "We play football, dog. Like we can get hurt, and we might as well not practice if we're worried about getting hurt
Yeah,
because that's how we play. We play physical, and I just love that. I love his mentality. I love the way he coaches. I know how he's going to approach this game. It's 2.5. The dogs are favored. I
I
thought
take
it'd be a
Georgia.
little bit bigger. Give me Georgia, man. Give me
Yeah.
Georgia to roll in this game.
Yeah, I think I don't know if I'll say roll. I think
A
it's hard to
plus.
say
A
Georgia
plus.
would roll, just because they've won one out of like the past like million. I know it from experience. I was a part of it. I think Georgia wins 27-24. So I would take them to cover that
Okay,
the three
okay.
or lay the three there. But it's Georgia Bama, man. It's gonna be two heavyweights battling out. And I think Alabama is gonna have a sense of urgency of, like, we may not make the playoffs if we lose this game.
Right.
Like, they are desperate
Desperation. Yeah,
to win this football game.
yeah.
So, I think you will get the best out of them. So, I think they keep it somewhat close, but Georgia wins it at the end. You agree?
Love it. I'm with him.
Alright, let's
I'm
do it.
rolling with the dogs, baby.
Alright, let's move to the Big Ten championship game. Indiana, Ohio State on Fox, 8 PM Eastern, on Saturday night. Ohio State absolutely, as good as we they thought they were, and then they flexed this past weekend versus Michigan. Now we all are like, "Okay, maybe they are that good." Like, okay, like, we thought maybe you could be, but yeah, Julian Sand is that guy. And this is essentially this game will determine who's gonna be the number 1 seed, who's gonna be the Big Ten champion, and let's be honest, who's gonna be the Heisman Trophy winner.
Mhm.
Because it's these 2 quarterbacks right now, kinda 1 and 2 when it comes to that. Maybe Jeremiah Love's there, but unfortunately, Notre Dame does not play, in a game this weekend, so they don't get an extra data point. I think it's these 2 guys. Unless they both completely crap the bed and it's just a defensive struggle,
Mhm.
one of these quarterbacks is gonna be walking out of here 13-0, Big Ten champion, number 1 seed, and the Heisman Trophy winner. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think there's certainly, that on the line. I don't I think Julian Sand is very good, but I think because they're so good around him, I just don't think of him the same way. To me, I'm not looking at this, I'm like, "Yeah, he's the Heisman," and he's so young too, which maybe that's dumb, that's flawed thinking,
Yeah.
because he's very, very good and he gets the ball
So
out.
good.
I don't know. There's something weird about it. I do think these are the 2 best teams in America right now. I
Yep.
do think that it is gonna be very exciting to see, just 2 balanced teams, the way they run it, the way they throw it, and the way that they play, defense and are aggressive and try to, get after you in a bunch of different ways there. Fascinated to see how it ends up being. Like, what does this thing truly look like? Because as much as, as good as Michigan is from the things that they do, where they love to run the ball, they have a physical defense. When you are one-sided and you're one-dimensional, it's easier to take things away.
Yep.
This will be, that true test. Not saying that I'm not giving credit to Ohio State. I think they're the best team in the country, maybe by a little bit of a gap there. But this is a different challenge in the fact that this Indiana team will run the heck out of the football and can pass it at a very high clip there. So, what does that look like? How does Indiana want to attack them? How do they want to stress Ohio State? And then same thing for the Buckeyes. What are they going to do against this Indiana team? They are mere images of each other statistically when you look at it, which should equate to a great game. Now the question is, what kind of great game? Is it a defensive struggle where it's 2 heavyweights feeling each other out, don't want to make a mistake, or is it just high flying, scoring left and right? Let's see how fast we can go.
Knowing Kurt Cignetti, there's no way they're gonna play this close to the vest. I think they're gonna come out
Let it
swinging
rip.
away. I
Yeah.
think you have to I think you have to trust both these obviously,
Yeah.
Fernando is a veteran, Grizzly veteran quarterback, potential number 1 pick in the NFL draft next year, number 1 quarterback off the board. You're gonna trust him to go win this game. You're not gonna hold back. And
Mhm.
this is very different than week 1 versus Texas for Julian Saint, where it was a very much, "Let's kinda play it slow, see what Texas even
Good
looks like on
point. Great
offense,
point.
maybe not have to flex our muscles too much throwing the football and kinda ease him into the season."
Mhm.
But you're talking about a quarterback right now that's 30 touchdowns, 79% completion, went on the road in a blizzard against Michigan and played his butt off after throwing to me, like, after watching him, if I'm the coaching staff, I am happy that he threw an interception on the first series because I
Mhm.
got to see what he's made of.
Right.
Because that was a rivalry game on the road, cold ass weather, and my dude threw a ugly ass pick and he came back and threw 3 touchdowns and was almost perfect the rest of the game.
Yeah.
I'm saying to myself, like, there is nothing that will phase this kid. There is nothing that will phase this young man after what I saw a week ago in Ann Arbor. So I'm letting him rip too. So I don't think we're gonna have a feel it out, kind of jab it out kind of game. I think both these offenses are gonna come out there trying to throw haymakers. I think the goal is gonna be which quarterback can you put under duress? Because neither quarterback has been hit a lot this year.
Right.
And you look even back last week, like Julian Sain did not get touched at all. On the road against that Michigan defense, he did not get touched at all. I'm trying to think right now. Fernando Mendoza has 15 sacks this season. Julian Sain's only been sacked 6 times. 6 times.
So
So, like, to your point, like, yes, there's something to be said about
yeah.
having an offense line that protects you, being smart enough to get the ball out, take completions, having unicorns as receivers, and actually having a good running game too. Like, Bo Jackson's been great
You've been
back there
great.
running the football game. But, like, which defense can force the opposing quarterback to make a mistake, strip
Mhm.
sack, fumble,
Yeah.
pressure, make a bad decision, throw a pick. Like those, I think both these teams are so good that even a little play like that can be the deciding factor.
Yeah. No, I'm right there with you. And just how much can special teams play a part? I think back to two offenses that are confident, two quarterbacks that are confident. When I played in the Natty against Bama, we were both shot for shot. We threw a punch, they threw a punch,
Yep.
and somebody had to do something or make a decision to ruffle it up, to make
Yep.
something happen. Nick Saban kicks an onside kick and took all the momentum out of the game. And it gave them that extra possession. It gave them that juice. And that ultimately was a big deciding factor of that game. Is something like that, going to happen? Is it a fake punt if you do get a stop? Is it an onside kick? Is it a field goal block, run it back?
Yep.
Something crazy like that, because these teams are so what we think identical on paper, so veteran led, star led. Is it something like that changes the game? I'll be interested to see. I was
Yeah.
interested too. This game's a 4.5, is the
I know.
number here for the Buckeyes. Were you shocked by that? Were you surprised by that?
If you strip away the logos, no. I think
Right.
we are still not accustomed to seeing Indiana be this good or be in this
Mhm,
game.
mhm.
So we're like, "Oh, it's Ohio State versus Indiana. Ohio State's just gonna blow them out." And it's like, take
Yeah,
away the logos, strip the helmet, look at the personnel, look what they've done this season. I mean, going on the road to Eugene, and we've seen Oregon be one of the best teams in America this season. To do that to Oregon on the road, that's impressive, man.
yeah,
That's impressive. That team is not afraid to go toe for toe with the big boys, and against teams that are physically probably a little bit more better. And let's be honest, like Ohio State, talent wise, is the better football team in this game. And I think that's why I lean still towards Ohio State. I think they are more physically gifted. They're more talented, and you maybe could have said 2 weeks ago that hey, advantage, Indiana maybe because of Mendoza in the quarterback spot. I don't know if you can say advantage anymore after what I saw from saying last week against
yeah,
Michigan.
yeah.
I think that's almost a wash at this point. So I'll lean towards Ohio State winning. I think they win by a touchdown. I think
Mm,
it's a good football game, though. I could see it being like 34-27,
that'd be
or
fun.
even like 27-20, somewhere around there. Ohio State wins.
Yeah. I think I'm going that way with you. And it stinks because obviously you have to pick against somebody. I think Indiana, very talented, very well coached, gritty football team. And they've gone through adversity. They've been up, they've been down, they had to
Yep.
make massive comebacks. Ohio State has not done that. So, if it gets to something crazy, nut cutting time, do they have that ability,
Yeah.
to pull something else? We know Indiana has. We've seen
Yep.
it. But with that said, will it get to that? I don't know. I think that, like you said, Ohio State too talented everywhere you look. I mean, it's just a superstar, going to be a draft pick, high draft pick. So I think I'm going with the Buckeyes too, but I think it's close. I don't know if I'm quite bullish enough to say Indiana covers, but I
Yeah.
think it is a very tight game.
I think it's a good I think it's a great football game. I think both those games will be damn good football games. Let's move on now to the ACC, which is just a
Riveting
cluster,
matchup, sexy,
riveting.
huge.
I mean, it's a 3.5 point spread. It's, it's closer
It better
projected
not
than this
be.
past game. Last time these 2 teams faced was at Duke too,
We
by the
just
way. It
saw it.
wasn't like it was at
Yeah.
Virginia. It was at Duke. Virginia won 34-17. Darian Mensah was 18 to 35 for 213, and they only ran the ball for 42 yards. Like, are we projecting, and I'm gonna lean on you a little bit more on this one because you are the ACC master over there. Are we projecting that Virginia's defense can do this to one of the best passing attacks in America 2
Mhm.
games in the past, what, month?
Yeah. Well, I think they're certainly trending that way just because they're coming off, their best game. I thought that Virginia looked really good against, a Virginia Tech team that obviously didn't accomplish what they wanted to. Fired coach, all these things. But they never quit. I mean, I will give the Hokies credit. I thought that team was going to fold. I thought they were going to just start getting aired out by everybody. And that wasn't quite the case. I mean, these guys fought. And this is a rivalry game that they just came out of, against Virginia here that they have dominated and they have owned, the who's in that thing. And Virginia said no more. And their defense looked really good, super stout against the run. And outside of one huge play on like a 4th and 12 that Virginia Tech scored a touchdown on, UVA, it was clamps and there was nowhere to run. I mean, that's how they played. And I think they have that mindset going into this. And, I actually just spoke to Tony Elliott earlier today, and just hearing his mindset of it does not matter that we've played them before. We are not thinking about that. We are treating this as a whole season in itself. This game, this opportunity, this potential playoff run here. And I believe him because I've coached or I've played under him. He was my offensive coordinator. I know how he handles different situations. I know how he's going to motivate these guys, and they're going to have a plan in place. Now, the interesting thing about, that offense for Duke there, that they abandoned the run, in that game. It felt like they just didn't even want to try at a certain point. And when you become predictable, when we know what you're going to do as a defense versus an offense, it's easier to play.
Mhm.
We got you. We know what you're going to try to do there. Darian Mintz is as talented as it gets. He's the 6th best passer in the entire country, only has 4 picks, really uber talented. It will be hard to replicate that same type of performance when he has everything that you do.
Yep.
He sees that. He sees his mistakes. He knows what he's going to, want to change. Those running backs have been on a tear for Duke. So as not sexy as this game is from a record standpoint and from the teams that Duke lost to, I still think that this can be a really impressive win for Virginia
Oh, yeah.
because you've played them before and you have that in your head, oh, we got this, we handle it, and how good of a player Darian Mensah is. So the biggest question to me in this game is Duke's defense. I mean, it has been abysmal all year long.
It's
I
crazy how
thought it
bad
was
it's
going to be a
been this year.
strength. Hadn't been
Yeah.
good. It hadn't been
Yeah.
good.
No, I listen, Virginia's the better team. Chandler Morris has been terrific. Taylor's been terrific running the football. Defense has, I mean, you look at their defense against teams that throw the football, and
Mhm.
they've been elite. They dominated Duke. You even go back to their game against Cal, who I just
Yeah.
watched Cal just absolutely torch SMU up and down the field. And JKS was 19 to 30, 213, and 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
So like at the end of the day, like, we've seen this narrative from Duke where they get in games and it turns into what you said, we're just going to abandon running the football. I had one of those games
Mhm.
when they played Tulane. They just completely gave up on it when they got down, and it just said, "Hey, Mensa, figure out a way for us to create explosives." And I just think Virginia is too good in the secondary, then obviously too good on offense that they're going to put Duke in that situation again.
Right.
Duke is gonna go back to the same playbook, and it's gonna play out very similarly.
Mhm.
So I think Virginia wins, maybe not as bad as before, but I think it's a comfortable win. I do. I think
Yeah.
it's a comfortable win. Would I like to see Duke win and mayhem happen across the ACC?
Shut your damn mouth. Shut
Yeah.
up. You shut up.
You know
You
what?
don't
You
say
know
that.
what? You know, I just saw something on ESPN.
Tell me.
They just came out right now, which we're recording this part of the show before the rankings come out. So maybe something's different when the rankings come out tonight. This will be on the back half, or we'll have another episode for that one. Um, but they just had the defensive statistics for, I just lost the article, for stop rate in college football. And Miami was number 6 defensively in
Yeah.
defensive stop rate.
Yeah.
Number 6. It goes Texas Tech, San Diego State, Toledo, Ohio State, Indiana, Miami
Yeah.
at a
Those are good.
75.8% stop rate, points per drive, 1.36.
Yeah. Miami's gonna be in a playoff. Don't you worry about that.
I
We're
think
gonna
they
win
are,
games.
dude. The more you see some of these stats, like,
I
how the
know.
hell are you gonna
I,
keep
I
them
would
out?
I would like the committee to make, again, we're gonna talk about this here in what is for you guys a couple of minutes, for us a couple hours. Uh I would like the committee to make some noise tonight. Like
Yes.
let's move them. Let's show that you believe in them. They did everything you asked, everything we talked about with Mario Cristobal, last night. I would like to see that good faith reward a team that's great. By it's not a charity case. This isn't
No.
Vandy or Texas I'm talking about here that you need some crazy stuff to happen. This is a really good football team that finished very, very strong.
Yep.
Anyway, without all that said, Virginia covers, Virginia wins
Virginia wins.
and is
All
in.
right, let's run through these next 2 real quick. We'll do the Big 12 champion and then the American champion. Texas Tech versus BYU, another
Mm,
rematch. So essentially we have
maybe losing their
3 of
head
the
coach too. Have you been seeing this?
yeah.
BYU.
Ooh, I know, yeah, BYU maybe going to
Yikes.
Penn State, which is crazy. 3 of these games are rematches from the regular season. BYU lost first go around, on the road there against Texas Tech 29-7. Um, I love BYU. I love Hank Bachmeier. I think he's a
Mhm.
tremendous quarterback. I think LJ Martin's great. I think the offense is great. I think the linebackers are terrific. Jack Kelly and company. I just think Texas Tech is just too good.
Yeah,
They're too
and
they're too talented.
yeah, it's interesting. It's only 29-7, which I mean, 22 points. That's a lot. But it felt so much worse. Like
Oh, it felt
watching that
awful.
game, I was just like, I was
How many times
cringing.
did
Like
they
I felt
cross the
so bad.
50?
Yeah, man, they
That was
couldn't
like that game. They
move.
barely crossed the 50 in that
Yeah,
game.
they couldn't do anything. They couldn't do
Yep.
anything, and you're just watching this like you feel bad for them. Game
Yeah.
days there, everybody's excited. BYU's taking a step, and then they just get
Dude,
drugged.
4.9 yards per pass,
Yeah,
2.5 yards per
yeah,
rush.
they got hammered, dude. They got
I mean, it
absolutely
was
hammered.
it was a significant, like, Georgia, Alabama, 2 heavyweights. You
Yeah.
coulda gone either way, kinda felt like 2 even teams. Um, Duke, I think, was still outmatched by Virginia, which is why we think Virginia wins again. I think Texas Tech, regardless of, "Oh, it's so hard to beat someone twice in the same season," that's when they're kinda similar.
Right.
I don't think these 2 teams are
Agreed.
similar when it comes
Agreed.
to overall talent. I
Yeah.
think I think Texas Tech is an overall significantly better football team that's
Mhm.
built to win this year, that is playing like that. So I think I would not I don't think we expect, or I expect, that much of a different performance in this football game.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. I think this is an interesting scenario before we need to get out of here because we need more time on the back end. Let's say BYU wins by 20 plus again. Clearly a
Texas
dominant
Tech
team.
wins?
Excuse me, Texas Tech. I'm sorry. Thank you. Texas Tech wins by 20 again. Indiana loses by a touchdown. Does Texas Tech get the bye? Or are you moving
Well, I mean,
Indiana to
you talk about
4?
top 4. I mean, they would have to move up. I mean, they could still move up without having to jump Indiana. Um, I think I think, I think Indiana, unless Indiana gets blown out, I think Indiana maybe even stays at the number 2 spot.
I hate that. Why play the games? Just move on. So dumb. There should be
Because
ramifications for losing. I'm not saying you're out of the
Why
playoff.
everyone else gets to sit at home? I mean, you'd have the same
Sorry for
record as
being
Texas Tech.
good. You should have lost a game earlier.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think Indiana, if it's a good football game, I think Indiana should stay at 2.
Yeah.
But I
Interesting.
mean, let's once again, like, let's wait till we have to wait till
What if
tonight's
Georgia
rankings
wins
because,
by 21?
well, Alabama needs to be out then.
I know. I'm saying, should Georgia be too?
It could be, yeah, 100%.
We'll see.
100%.
We'll
But I
see.
think there's such a respect for Ohio State
Yeah.
that if you make that a competitive 4-quarter game, people are like, okay, like that's mad props because
Yeah.
we think Ohio State is
It's gonna be
so
interesting. I just
elevated.
like when games matter. I think there should be consequences for losing games. It's part of it. It's just part of it. I'm not saying
Whatever.
again, you're not out of the playoff. You just got to play the first
Yeah.
round.
All right, let's go to the last one real quick. American Athletic Conference, 2 teams that have coaches that are on their way out. Hilarious. But winner is in the playoffs. Tulane, North Texas. Let's just make a quick pick here. I'm going North Texas. I I I am in love with Drew Messamaker. I am in love with Caleb Hawkins. I am in love with Wyatt Young, Dorner, the entire offense. I mean, it is unbelievable how good this offense is. Defense, not so much. And defense does struggle against the run at times, and that is what Tulane wants to do. They want to be physical. They want to run it. They want to utilize Jake Retzloff's legs and get things going there. They just don't have a lot of talent around Jake Retzloff. Like
Right.
it's a one man band a little bit, and that worries me in a game like this against an offense that is as explosive. North Texas is the number 1 offense in the country.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I think they're gonna push some stress on Tulane a little
I
bit.
know. Messamaker is a monster, dude. He's so fun to watch. Be interesting to see if he's wearing orange next year. Let's see. Would
He
be
ain't gonna be
crazy.
wearing green, that's for damn sure.
It'll be interesting. I think I'm going North Texas as well. Shout out BG for making this happen. So we're going to take just a break here for a second, and then we're going to talk college football playoff right after this.
Okay.